Music has been a part of Sydney-based singer-songwriter Hayden Phillis's story long before he began releasing music himself. His parents first met at the Tamworth Country Music Festival way back in 1996, and years later Hayden began carving out his own path, first performing an original song publicly at just 9 years of age as the lead singer of his primary school rock band, where the group came second in the competition. Busking soon followed and became a major part of his development as a live performer and songwriter. A 3 times graduate of the CMAA Academy, Hayden has fostered a strong connection with the Australian country music community and was last year a top 10 finalist in Tamworth's Best of Buskers competition. Can't read my writing here. Plus he won several awards at major country music festivals including Tamworth, Gympie and Brisbane's Ekka Show. Hayden's debut album, Too Young, You're Never Too Young, which was recorded at the creative home of Casey Chambers and Brandon Dodd, has received glowing industry reviews and was even recognised in the New South Wales State Parliament, with MP Eleni Petanos reading out a congratulatory note to the members in a statement of recognition that acknowledged Hayden and the release of his latest single, Stick Poke Tattoos, that I played a moment ago, which is clearly destined to be another huge success for this very talented young artist. Interestingly, when he's not performing, Hayden spends much of his downtime building online video games, with one of his creations currently outperforming his music streaming numbers. Good stuff. I'm genuinely delighted to have Hayden standing by on the phone, waiting to have a chat with me, so allow me to bring him on air without any further ado. Hello, Hayden. How you going, mate?
I'm doing very, very well. How about yourself?
I can't complain, mate. I'm still above ground and breathing, so all's good.
Good way to be.
Yeah, that's what I reckon. All right, now, welcome to the Country Club. It's great to have you on the show. It's something I've been looking forward to doing. But tell us the story behind Stick Poke Tattoos. Did you write it yourself, or was it a co-write?
Yeah, I wrote this one myself. I'd just been to a Tyler Childers concert with my family, and he's quite an energetic performer, and so naturally I got home and I was feeling like doing some writing and playing some music and being a bit upbeat. And at the time, a friend of mine had been messaging me about a bit of a problematic relationship, let's say.
Right.
And he was telling me a bit about it, and I ended up coming up with this little bit of a chorus that I had for the song. And over the next couple of weeks, he'd tell me a little bit more about the relationship, and I'd write a little bit about the song. And he'd tell me a little more about what's going on with him, and I'd write more of the song. And eventually, it kind of became this culmination of my friends' problems and relationship issues. And yeah, it only stemmed out from there. Okay.
Now, I've got to ask you, what exactly is a stick poke tattoo?
Well, a stick poke tattoo, or a stick and poke tattoo, for those of you who don't know at home, fair warning, don't give yourself one, is a tattoo that you can give yourself by just getting a bottle of ink and a needle, and you dip your needle in the ink, and then you poke your skin, and you go back and forth, and you can give yourself a tattoo by hand.
Oh, no.
And people would, give themselves them all the time in high school and around different areas that I know, and so it was kind of building out of that stereotype of, she has stick poke tattoos and battered worn shoes and a temperament for jumping into things she won't see through, and that's where it came from.
Wow, okay. Folks, don't do that at home.
Do not do that at home. Hey, if you're getting a tattoo, don't trust somebody who's doing it with a needle and ink unless they're a professional. You're never going to get a good tattoo from a teenager.
Exactly right. Well, look, thanks for clearing that up. I now know what a stick poke tattoo is, and I will avoid them at all costs.
Fair enough.
Okay, so where can people buy your music?
You can find all my music, and if you want to get a CD, check out my social medias under Hayden Phillis music. You'll be able to find me all over. And if you want to stream my music or listen to it, that'd be incredible. You can find me, again, under Hayden Phillis, Phillis.
Okay. And do you have a website?
I don't, but if you go into my Facebook, you'll be able to get information on getting my stuff.
Sure, no worries. I might later on when I remember, I'll text you our mailing address here at the studio. Could you arrange to have a CD sent to me?
Of course, yeah, I can.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'll do that later, and I look forward to getting my hands on it.
Beautiful. Glad to hear it.
No worries. Now, I in the intro that I read out earlier, before you came on air, I mentioned that you're a 3-time graduate of the CMAA Academy. I'm just curious how you do that 3 times. I thought once would be enough.
Well, the Academy actually offers a couple of different things, and so I thought I'd go back to kind of check them out. You know, first time around, I was a junior. I was still a kid, and so,
Okay.
you know, it was my first introduction to, I guess, the country community and, you know, songwriting, co-writing, collaborating, and then the next time around, I did the instrumentalist course. So I went through and I played the piano for the band, and I learned, you know, 38 new songs or something within the week, and I had to then play them in front of the stage. And then third time around, of course, I just did the full senior course a couple of years ago, where I did a bunch of songwriting and collaborating, which I really think has become a pretty central core part of me as an artist. I do so much co-writing and writing for myself and other people. In fact, I've recently been writing with people who live all the way over in Nashville, Esther June, who, with that, I've ended up getting the title track of my album, which this song is a part of. And I'm actually going to be heading to Nashville for 3 months pretty soon.
Okay. What's the name of the album?
The album is going to be called What Time Wouldn't Do.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, now, the next question is, you're off to the US soon, so what's the plan?
Well, I've got quite a couple of people now who I'm connected with in Nashville who I'm going to be wanting to write with, like Esther June, who's a pretty incredible, you know, award-winning vocalist, and, you know, there's, you know, Angus Gill, and quite a couple of people who I'm going to be collaborating with down there. And then, of course, I'm going to be checking out some festivals. I'll be in and with Americana Fest and some places in California and LA, and basically just overall going to be traveling through and then enjoying developing and learning more about my craft.
That's I envy you. I really do, Hayden. I would love to do something like that, but you know, the time's gone past, and I won't have that opportunity. But it's good to see young artists like yourself having that opportunity, and you know, all the best to you. I hope it goes gangbusters for you over there in the US, and I'm sure you're going to be a huge success over there. There's a lot of Australians in Tamworth, and have been for a long time now. So you know, you should feel right at home. You know, with all the Aussies there in Tamworth, which is a good thing, because I think you'll be a little bit more comfortable that way. But in any case, what actually drew you to the music industry to start with?
Well, I mean, as a lot of musicians, I guess, do, I grew up with music around my house and playing music myself. I was always quite a singer. I came out singing, really. Right. And, you know, when I was like maybe 11, 12, 13, I got this interest in going busking and playing live. I'm not actually quite sure where that ticked from, but I'd start to print out sheet music, and I'd go into the park and I'd sit and strum along on my guitar, and I, you know, was cute enough, probably wasn't very good at the time, but I was cute enough where I got some dollars, and so that was a bit of a motivator for me to keep going. And I then, you know, I went and played a couple of pub gigs, and my parents thought, well, we met at the Tamworth Country Music Festival, why don't we bring this kid there? And I played, and that's where I got to meet a bunch of different artists and I got asked to come to the Academy of Country Music, which
Okay.
then got me to start doing writing more and putting my writing into more songs with other people, which I've just loved. And I think that's then become something that's helped me get through different hard parts in my life. And
Okay.
then over the years started to do more gigs and festivals, and then started to tour around Australia. And then from there I released my first album, and then toured, playing all across the kind of eastern side of Australia and playing all the festivals, and then making my second album now, where I'm now going to be going to America and playing all over there. So it's
Cool.
only continued to grow for me, which is just incredible.
Why country music? I mean, why not, classic rock or even classical music? That's what I was going to ask you. You read music? You're a sight reader?
I'm a sight reader generally. I can sit and read music, and I like chord charts, but whatever works for me. I like music generally that has a story or has good writing in it. And I've always loved that, whether it's in rap music, whether it's in different, bedroom pop kind of music. But,
Right.
The genre that probably has it the most for me is country. You know what I mean? A lot of country and a lot of folk music's all about,
Right, yeah.
telling a story and being authentic in that way. And so that kind of connected with me. And I've especially always had roots in it because my dad and half my family is all from Victoria in the country, and so I grew up with so much of it around me that it was kind of the biggest opportunity for me to be able to live off of my music, and that's what I want to do. So that's
Okay.
what I'm doing.
So whereabouts in Victoria were your people from?
Marupna, Shepparton is where all my family's from, and I've just spent the past 2.5 weeks in Shepparton, and I drove back to Sydney just yesterday. So
Okay, right. Right, okay. So you got sick of the weather down here, I guess.
It seems like it. Wow, has it been flooding with water, hasn't it? A little chilly too, but it's a great area, ain't it?
It sorts the men from the boys, Hayden.
It does indeed. It does indeed. Changes you.
Okay. Now here's a bit of a tricky question for you, but I've got to ask it.
Okay.
What's been your most memorable experience so far as a performer?
This one's going to be... it is hard, actually, because there's kind of two categories. I feel like, funnily enough, you'd think it'd be a big stage or something. I've played a couple of big stages. I played main stage in Tamworth, and I just recently did Boots and Beach, which was incredible. But the most memorable gig for me is actually one I did quite a bit ago, a couple of years ago. I went to Dungog, I believe it was,
Okay.
because there was a festival going on, and I ended up going early to kind of check out the place, and it was like the day before festival, and we went to this place called the Tin Shed Brewery, and they were meant to have music. But the person who was going to play, I think, broke their leg, and I'd taken my guitar out of the car so I wouldn't overheat, and they ended up asking, "Oh, would you play a couple of songs?" Thinking that it was my dad going to play some songs, and we went, "Yeah, he can play some songs." And I went up and I played a couple of songs, and they went, "Oh, shoot, okay, hold up, would you want to fill in for the first kind of thing of the festival here?"
Okay.
Yeah, and they really liked me, and I was like, "Oh, I'd love to do that." And what ended up happening was I went and I played this gig, and I got a bunch of my friends to come and play, and basically all of the area came in to listen to me play, and I played this set in an absolutely packed out pub,
Cool.
with fresh cooked pizzas, and it was just a thing for the fun. It was the first thing at the festival, and nothing else was on, and so everyone was all there.
Okay.
And I was just doing it for free, but they all really loved my music and were really sweet. They ended up making a tab over the bar where people gave money just to thank me for coming and playing, and it was just a really, really good feeling and good-hearted gig to play in. So that's why that's stuck with me for a bit now.
I can understand that. That would be a memorable experience. I would imagine that. Absolutely. So that's an interesting story. Yeah, like you say, you'd expect an answer like, I've been up on stage at Tamworth, but but that's a really good story. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, it was such a good time, and that's kind of the gig I enjoy playing. I'd prefer to play to a theatre of a couple of thousand than to a stadium of 300,000, because there's things I really enjoy personally when I'm watching a performance that I find you can only get from that sort of venue. That feeling where a person or you've just played a song and you're in a room of absolutely pin drop silence, people really thinking and listening, connecting to the music. What I love and what I strive to be. People like Damien Rice, Shane Nicholson, or Mark Kozilek, people like that.
Okay.
The songwriters.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, that brings me to another question. Who do you regard as your main influences as a songwriter and a performer?
I've pulled from a lot of different things, I think.
Okay.
I mean, I said Damien Rice before. Damien Rice and Ed Sheeran were somebody I really liked when I was quite little, and I started playing music when I was quite little, and there's something I really like about how they go about their pub performances that are really engaging, and Damien Rice particularly is quite an emotional storytelling songwriter.
Okay.
But I've always really loved Casey Chambers and kind of Shane Nicholson's writing, right. And their actual way of playing the songs, the way that they share their music and the format that they put it all together in, something I find really, really beautiful.
Right.
And so, there's a lot of things I pull from them, their authenticity, their general use of getting turns of phrases and twisting them in interesting ways to just make, the songs have a bit of flavor to them. You can read through the lyrics almost like a poem and find different things in it that, on a 30th listen, there's something new that you realize, which that's something I really love. And there's people like Phoebe Bridgers and Mark Kozilek who do very, very confessional songwriting. They write very, very personal, very honest things about themselves that's, lots of people wouldn't have the courage to be so open about. And so I think that and a lot of artists is something that I love. But I really study music, especially at the moment. I look at artists and find what I enjoy about their live performances and really try and work on mine.
That's a good idea. That's great. That's you are definitely heading in the right direction, Hayden. There's no doubt about it. I can predict, quite confidently that you are going places, my boy.
Thank you.
You are going to do well, absolutely. And you're just starting out, so I mean, what's the rush? But you just keep writing great songs and performing them, and the world is yours. It really is.
Thank you.
So it's something to look forward to. So I encourage you to do that. We're just about out of time. Just quickly, if you could. Just let us know what you got coming up, in the very near future, in terms of gigs or festivals or tours or whatever.
Well, I'm about to head in 4 days' time to Nashville for 3 months. So if you're curious on what I'm getting up to on that, I'll be posting every day, of course, and keeping you all updated on my social medias under Hayden Phillis.
Sure.
And after that, I'll be coming home, doing Tamworth Country Music Festival, of course.
Sure.
Tried and true, and then I'll be releasing an album. So it's gonna be a very, very, very busy next couple of months for me. So keep in tune.
Okay, enjoy it. I doubt you'll have much time to be building video games in the next next little while.
I doubt that indeed. But yeah, no, thank you for having this chat with me. Always good to talk about my music, and I'm sure I'll come back in not too long with stories of a new album and of a big journey.
Oh, I look forward. I really do look forward to our next conversation, because I'll be able to talk to you about your trip to Nashville, and whatever you've got coming up in the way of new material. Look, I've really enjoyed having this talk with you today. And I do thank you for taking the time to have this chat with me on your Sunday afternoon.
Of course.
And I wish you all the best. I really do, and I mean that sincerely. Go over there, kick ass, you know.
Thank you very much, and thank you for playing my music. I really, really appreciate it. And it's all this love which allows me to do it, and so thank you.
No worries. I love supporting good Aussie talent. You tick that box. So, look, have yourself a blast. Teach those Yanks what country's all about, and we'll talk to you again soon.
I'll sure try my best. You have a good one.
You
Cheers.
too, mate. Okay, take it easy, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Will do. Ciao.
Okay, bye, Hayden. Sorry. Okay, see you, mate.